Unlike many of the Dickinson poems we have read and analyzed during English class, which focuses on the themes of death, religion or faith, the afterlife, nature and depression, Emily Dickinson's poem of I Hide Myself Within My Flower is categorized under Emily Dickinson's list of romantic poems and has a theme that focuses on loneliness in romances. According to Emily Dickinson's Poetry Walk, a self-guided tour at nybg.org's audio tour of Emily Dickinson's garden, The Poetry of Flowers, the poem I Hide Myself Within a Flower is a dramatic narrative in which the poet mingles her own identity with that of a flower. The flower is given to a friend as a corsage or nosegay, so that the unsuspecting recipient of the poet's gift wears not only the flower but the poet herself. Again, according to nyb.org, scholars have long speculated about Dickinson's interest in plants. She was, in fact, an avid gardener and nature enthusiast. Just like her poem, I Hide Myself Within My Flower, which was really a letter written by Dickinson, many of her other poems and letters allude to wildflowers and traditional herbaceous garden plants. Flowers were one of her favorite metaphors. She used flowers as images in her poems and as subjects for her letters. To me, the poem's level of romance falls drastically from being a relationship full of happiness and love expressed in the first stanza to a feeling of loneliness expressed in the second stanza. Dickinson uses the literary device of repetition, for she begins both stanzas with the line, I hide myself within my flower. Though being the same exact line and repeated for each stanza, both lines expresses different meanings. In the first stanza, the line, I hide myself within my flower, very much means the same thing according to the nyb.org, as said before, which is that the speaker represents or presents herself and her own identity in and as the flower. For the second and third lines of the first stanza, that wearing on your breast, you unsuspecting wear me too, she talks about the flowers that come in different forms. For the second line, I believe a flower you would wear on your chest or breast in this case would be a boutonniere, and the flower being expressed in the third line would be a corsage. I believe these two lines give out almost like a prom theme. For the last line of the first stanza, and angels know the rest, Dickinson expresses how that the flowers they wear essentially represent them wearing each other, which is as a gift from the heavens. For example, the boutonniere is worn on your breast, representing as if you're holding or keeping this love on close to your heart. Also, this last line of the first stanza goes with the prom theme again, expressing how that these two who exchange flowers or gifts are as if the perfect date or the perfect couple that the angels sing and rejoice when they are together. In the second stanza, Emily Dickinson repeats the line, I hide myself within my flower. But this time, instead of presenting herself as the flower, she actually is as if hiding herself through the flower. She expresses in a way that she is trying to shy away from someone or something. In this case, she is hiding from herself through the flower she has been given by her once lover, which in the first stanza was her perfect match, and who she shared a relationship full of happiness and love. In the second and third lines of the second stanza, that fading from your face, you unsuspecting feel for me, Dixon expresses the missing you feeling. In the second line, Dixon uses the word choice of vase. A vase offers protection and water, essentially life to a flower. In this case, Dickinson is making the vase represent as if it was a heart. Sadly, Dickinson is shying away from this love and life with this man of flowers, her once lover. She feels that she does not love and cherish this man as she did before. As for the final line of this poem, almost a loneliness, Dickinson displays the so lone or lonely without you feeling. She expresses how this man of flowers would feel lonely in her absence, but she uses the word almost, saying that he is not completely or quite alone. It is as if that Dickinson is confused on what she feels, whether she still loves him or not love this man of flowers anymore. Dickinson also uses repetition once again by repeating the word "you" unsuspecting in the third line of both stanzas, though it is used in different situations. In the first stanza, she says, "You unsuspecting, wear me too." In this case, she means that she's surprised that this man is her date to prom, and that he ends up wearing the boutonniere, which in actuality is wearing her. She is surprised that this man loves her, and that they were the perfect couple, and the perfect date at the time. In the second stanza, Dixon says, "You unsuspecting, feel for me." In this case, she is surprised in the way that this man of flowers, her once lover, still loves her, though she makes it clear that she is hiding and shying away from him. Dickinson also uses the use of end punctuations, in this case periods, at the end of each stanza. Dickinson's use of end punctuations is unusual in her work of literature. In fact, she uses commas than her usual use of hyphens. After some research, I found that Dickinson's uses of commas and end punctuation is usually found in many of her romantic poems and letters, unlike her poems of death, afterlife, nature, depression, religion, or faith that we went over in class. Dickinson uses the period at the end of stanza 1 where she says, "And the angels know the rest." She uses the period as if she was making a statement about her perfect love. In the last line of the second stanza, she uses a group of three periods when she says "almost a loneliness." It expresses her lingering thoughts and feelings of loneliness. So, in the end, in the poem "I Hide Myself Within My Flower," Dickinson expresses how she is hiding herself through the flower this man gives her. She feels that there is no use for this man who gives her flowers to feel for her or love her because he would only be feeling loneliness, since she doesn't feel the same way like before or giving anything back to him in return. This is why she shies and tries to hide her face from him through or within her flower.